Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In today's video I'm going to be going over my fourth round game of the US Go Congress 2019 in Madison, Wisconsin. If you don't know how the Go Congress is set up each year, we play 3 games in the first half of the week, then we have a day off, and then we finish off the week with 3 more games. So this is my fourth round game, so this is starting off the second half of the week. My opponent, Tianyuan Zhang, I have a little history with him actually. We have played twice in rated games. Last year in the Open we played, but also last year during the Die Hard tournament we played. The Die Hard tournament is a tournament they hold on the off day between the 2 halves of the Go Congress. And we are 1-1. He beat me in the Open last year, where I beat him in the Die Hard. Both rated games. So we're 1-1. He's a young Chinese kid, except he's not one of the students from China. He lives in the U.S. And yeah, one thing I will say, during the game he was very chatty, since we're kind of buddies, rivals, etc. So he's a little chatty, which was a little annoying, but it's all good. He's just having fun, so nothing wrong with that. Truthfully, this game itself is pretty mundane. There's not a lot of fighting and not a lot to discuss. I definitely played this game way too fast, and so did my opponent. So there's not like a lot to go over in this game, but I guess this is more of like a showcase video than really more of a review, because there's not a lot to discuss in this game. But yeah, let's look at it. So I'm black, my opponent is white. I played the same opening I played in my third round game when I was black. In my game in the third round, my opponent went here. In this game, my opponent hanes. So this is very standard. White extends, and then 3-3. Kind of standard nowadays. I could also consider approaching from the inside on either one of these. And the reason why on the inside as opposed to the outside is because whichever one I approach from, like if I approach from my stones, white's side is going to be much more developable than my side, right? This is very low, and so is this one. So that's why if one of the sides is not very valuable, then you want to kind of force your opponent to go this direction, is the idea. But I take the 3-3. I avoid the complicated variation where black attaches and white hanes by just extending. And then Soren say. And then I finish off this Joseki. While this looks small, like I just end up playing a second line move, it actually has a big effect on the corner. The corner is completely alive now, plus this stone here is going to help any invasion that happens here. White plays this move, probably afraid if they play low I was going to shoulder hit. Plus playing low means when I invade, this stone is going to be not as effective when white wants to try to attack black. So this is really emphasizing the left side, but it leaves the corner much more vulnerable. So extend from the corner, plus if white ignores, there's this move here, which looks at this weakness. If white comes on top, black can hane, and you can see white cannot cut black off because this is an Atari. So the best move white has is by going here, but once black has this stone here, black can play this knight's move. And if white blocks, black can now run out, and you can see white's very weak here and here. This stone's in a very annoying spot for white. If white comes on top, black would still block, and if white continues to try to keep black separated, black can then jump out. So it's very similar to the last sequence. If white comes on top though, somehow, then black will be able to connect. So I believe the Joseki move is for white to go here, and then something like this. But this is all Sente, and once black is connected here, this stone is a lot stronger, which means the corner is less invadable for white. Whereas when white protects by jumping in the game, oh, actually white invaded immediately. Yeah. But if white were to jump up and then I was to play elsewhere, now when white invades, because this stone is weaker, it's kind of a difficult decision which way to block. My opponent did it immediately. I block on this side, and then they jump. And then I push up. So this is my first move I really do not like. Remember when I said all the way back here, I didn't approach from here because this side is less developable than white's left side. So even though I've added all these stones, as you can see, all my stones are still on the third line. So even though in the game this felt good, one, this area is too wide. So even if white just later jumps in, this move has not a lot of value. Plus, white's left side is clearly more developable than black's top. So I should attack these stones here as opposed to just trying to build my own thing. Again, I don't know why I was playing fast. I don't know if it's because my opponent was playing fast or I just wasn't in the correct mindset, but this move is not so good, I think. I should invade. So of course they Hane and double Hane. I extend. They extend again. Cut and then extend, threatening to come through. And then Hane. So the Hane is just giving up these two stones. I'm curious if I should fight this more, right? If white Hanes and I Hane, this would be a mistake because black has too many cutting points. So white would be able to cut here, threatening to cut here, or capture the stones and double Atari, right? So if black goes here, white could double Atari. If black fixes the double Atari, white could cut here. So this wouldn't be so good, but this would be a different game. Who knows what would happen here. But then in the game I just give these up. Which in the game I'm like, oh, this is solid cash, and there's no way white's going to be able to build this left side. So I jump in, kick, and then extend, come up, and then I extend. Yeah, this move is just too slow. Way too slow. I needed to do something here or on the bottom somewhere. Maybe this one. Something like this might happen. But even if I just start trying to live in here, this area has got to be the biggest area. And if white plays the move that I played in the game, so what? It's not that valuable. So again, this move is way too slow. So white just descends, invasion, and then knight's move. So now I've scooped out the points here. But you can see white's really starting to build the center. So Hane, extend, and then attach. So in the game I thought I read this correctly, but it turned out I did not, of course. But it still doesn't lose black much because later black will be able to squeeze and white will have to capture this stone. while giving black a bunch of points on the left. So I don't think it loses anything, but it definitely was still a misread that just happened to end up working. So again, this game, not that great. Cut. Shape point. White does not need to play the shape point. White could have been way more aggressive. Even though there's this push here. And cut. We can see, even though black gets all these forcing moves, black cannot capture these stones in a ladder, nor can black capture them in a net. Now what white needs to be careful for is, let's see. So this is what the ladder would look like. So if black has any stone along here, this ladder would work. So maybe what white is worried about is if white extends, black would do something like this. But even if black gets a stone there and now white like Atari's, these stones are now heavier and white's wall is much thicker. So yeah, I think this move's slack by white. I just extend, white extends, I attach, and I play this move. This move looks nice, but I really do just gotta play this one. This actually gets me points because when I played here in the game, while this looks like a nice shape move, white just goes here and scoops out all these points in the bottom left. Whereas if I played here, it's still not clear if white can cut, and if white cuts off these stones, I still keep the bottom. So I definitely needed to play here. This move looks like the shape fancy move, but it's not so good. White just takes out all these points, maps out those points, and I'm getting Dame in the center. White jumps here. Now, in the game, I went here, but I should really protect my corner. Because I know there's Aj in the corner, but I was so caught up about this cud, and then white can capture these two stones. But these two stones are meaningless. So if I just protect my corner somehow, white might be able to cut here, and then cut here. But actually, does that even... Oh, white might do this. Yeah, do this one. Even if I just do this, and white cuts, so what? The corner is, I think, much bigger. Yeah. But I was so caught up about these two stones that I played here. But this move's not good because white just attaches. And now I either have to give up this stone or let white take the corner. So I let white take this stone, but you can see this is a huge gain for white. So I kick here. I think I should peep first, looking at this attachment here. But even white might not answer how I want to though. Like white might attach here. But even if white goes here, I'm not sure this exchange has helped me much. Maybe it has, but yeah. So I just kick, white extends of course, and then turns on a... Yeah, so really we're already going into endgame. And really the story of this game is... I used to squeeze now. The story of this game is my positional judgment was just not good at all. Yeah. I needed to... Because I watched a Ryan Lee lecture at the Go Congress on positional judgment, so I was definitely trying to use what I had learned and applied it. But... And this is the result, by the way. So didn't turn out as well as I hoped, but yeah. White just has more points than black. Yeah, like white's ahead on the board right now, and white still has Comey. So yeah, so we're playing this Ko. Hane. Well, white has a million code threads up here. So I just play here. White takes. And then I do this move, which, again, I don't know why I don't just take my points and do this. Be happy with this very solid shape. And white now has defects. But instead I fix white's shape. And now I'm the one with defects. Like if I try to go in more, white might be able to attach immediately. Yeah. And if I Hane, white would be able to attach here and then cut. So there's just a ton of Aji. I should just take my points, but instead I let white connect, make great shape, and I make 0 points here. And I've reduced white by only a little bit compared to capturing the stone. And then there's so much Aji here. Let's see, if I connect solidly, would white cut directly? What would white do? White would definitely be able to get this one, for sure. And I have to back off. And then white could definitely wedge as well. But I still think it looks like there's nothing else there. So again, I don't know what this is. You know, I had maybe 50 minutes left, but I played this. Really, what was I worried about? White cuts directly, I can just Atari this. Yeah, I don't know. Because clearly, this leaves an obvious weakness. In the game, though, my opponent can't cut right now, because if they try to cut this off, you can see that I'll be able to cut here and cut these off. But they still get this move, which there's no really clean way for me to protect. So I come down here, and then they poke through. And yeah, pretty honestly boring game in terms of playing it, reviewing it, probably watching this review right now, honestly. Just not good decisions by me, just cost me the game. Now, my opponent, Tianyuan, I believe his official rank is 6 Dan, but he entered as 5 Dan. So even though he's 6 Dan, I believe he was 5 Dan during the tournament. Yeah, I think so. So even though it says 6 Dan as his rank, like it had it on his name tag that he was 6 Dan, but he was pleading that no, I'm actually 5 Dan. So yeah, pretty not great game. Definitely one of my most disappointing games I've played, because it's just, there's nothing exciting, there's no stellar play by me. I just had less points. And maybe, I guess the one takeaway from this game for me is that I definitely do need to work on counting, because I've thought, oh, this top side is humongous, but clearly white's left side is bigger. So the game ends here, and I lose by 12.5, which put me at 2-2 at the Congress. Yeah. So that's it for this game, really. If you have any questions about this game, please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.